Hi everyone, I'm Tim McMillen, the e-commerce director here at Candyspace, and I'm joined today by our very own Matt Simpson, our MD at Candyspace. Matt, welcome. Do you want to just say hello to the guys watching and tell them a little bit about your role here?
Sure, I'm the managing director at Candyspace. So basically, I have a load of experts in the business and they all do brilliant things. And I have the very fortunate job to at least help facilitate and coordinate them doing those brilliant things.
We're really lucky here at Candyspace. We work with a wide range of clients of various degrees of digital maturity. But when you're bumping into a client that's perhaps a bit more digitally mature, what's the first thing that they should think about when starting to provide seamless customer experiences?
The first thing I'd say is don't panic. Don't try and boil the ocean. Not many businesses are actually getting that right. There aren't that many businesses who are delivering seamless multi-channel experiences. So think of yourself as a consumer. How many times when you interact with businesses do you genuinely feel that it's an entirely seamless experience? So it's about not trying to aim for perfection, but starting small and figuring out, maybe take 2 or 3 key customer journeys, analyze those journeys. Where are people dropping off? Where is the experience not seamless? How are people moving from one channel to another? How are they moving from one channel into a physical experience? And then trying to identify where you can improve those journeys. So what can you do to prevent the drop-offs? What can you do to enhance the experience between the channels? And then you can start small, you can start to demonstrate impact, you can get buy-in from the business, and then you can expand from there.
So it sounds like, I think what you're saying is it's really key to become really comfortable with data and analysing data in order to help use that data to power better digital customer experiences.
It is, but that for me isn't the exciting thing, and I'm sure it's very exciting to a lot of data engineers out there. But for me, what's important is what you do with the data. I stood up at Social Media Week in 2015 in Copenhagen and boldly told the audience that because of the advances in data engineering, the increasing sophistication of CMSs and other digital tools, that in a couple of years' time, every time you as a consumer interacted with a brand, it would be highly personalized, it would be informed by contextual and transactional and behavioral, all sorts of data. And that hasn't really happened. Like, that was 10 years ago, but the tech was in place back then. So the ability for businesses to do that is there, but what has been missing is the strategy that sits on top of that. So what's important is not the data itself, but what you do with that data. And what's important is understanding not just what's happening, but why it's happening and what you can do to change what's happening in the interests of your customer and your business. So at Candyspace, we create customer intent frameworks where we have a deep understanding of not only what people do, but why they do it. And we create experiences based off the back of that data and that insight that we have into how those customers are behaving.
When you reflect on all of the projects and the initiatives that you've been involved in over the years, what do you think has been the best impact you've seen on the customer from a piece of technology transformation?
I can't choose the best because all our clients are equally valuable to us, and we've created many long-lasting impacts for our clients and for their customers. But to choose one, because I think it's an interesting example, in the automotive sector, we work with Mazda, and the automotive car buying journey is an incredibly complex one, as anyone who's thought about buying a car will know. It moves from multiple channels, from digital to physical. You've still got usually a dealer involved and some very, let's say, old school methods of selling and haggling and all that sort of thing. So it's really difficult for an automotive business to create the seamless customer experiences that we're talking about. But we did a piece of work with Mazda where we identified that because of their network of dealers, they had, in the UK alone, over 80 disparate dealer websites that were connected into the main Mazda site. Across Europe, there were hundreds of these. And for the customer, it's an incredibly fragmented experience and not delivering value for Mazda because it wasn't creating the right ecosystem, the right experiences to keep them within the Mazda environment. So in terms of implementing technology, we use the Optimizely CMS to amalgamate those many hundreds of disparate websites into a single ecosystem, a single experience for the customer. They don't care whether they're going from one platform to another. Like, what they want is a consistent experience that helps them move along the journey from awareness to consideration, ultimately to purchase. So being able to implement that on a modern CMS and create those type of lasting and valuable experiences for a customer, we're really proud of the impact we had there.
Thanks. You mentioned a few kind of tools and digital products there. What do you think is the most powerful digital tool a modern marketer can have in their arsenal these days?
That's a trick question, Tim, because it's not about the most powerful tool you've got. Look, the tech is amazing. There are so many powerful tools out there, and actually as a business you can choose from a vast array of incredibly sophisticated and powerful tools. You can choose the best in breed of each tool. You can very easily stitch them together in a way that is most suited to your business. But there are so many examples, and any survey you read will tell you that the capabilities of the tools that businesses are buying, most businesses are only using a fraction of those capabilities. So it's very easy to invest in highly sophisticated tools to be taken by the sales pitches of whoever's selling them to you. But actually, again, it's what you do with those tools that's important. So the most powerful tool in your armory as a business isn't a piece of tech, it's the strategy that sits on top of those tools. So being able to maximize the value for your customers, to invest in what's important to them, to deliver experiences of the highest quality, to drive ultimately sales, but loyalty, advocacy, and so on, but also to make sure that that is in the sweet spot with what's driving business value. So how are those tools creating a return on investment for your business?
Yeah, one of the tools at the moment that is getting a lot of airtime and a lot of attention is AI, and everyone's trying to work out what they're going to do with it and how they're going to use it for various kind of outcomes. What's your prediction on like the value of AI in our business going to be in the future?
Yeah, I've heard one or two people talking about AI recently. I think probably calling AI a tool is massively undervaluing it. To think about it more broadly, so I have a very Marxist view of where AI can take us, and a very utopian view, which is I believe ultimately AI can reduce the alienation of labour, replace automated tasks, allow humans to flourish in arts and sports and sciences, take away scarcity. If it turns out that in fact Terminator 2 is a more accurate prediction and it ultimately kills us all, it'd be very embarrassing for me. But I genuinely believe that AI can be an incredibly powerful tool for the benefit of humankind. So to translate that back into Candyspace, I think what AI can do in our business is help elevate the human. So Candyspace is only built on the expertise of all the humans within our business. But what AI can do is help to enhance and amplify those humans' ability by taking away some of the tasks that take time and allowing them to focus on the creativity, the insight, the expertise in the advice we give to our clients without some of their time being taken up by tasks that AI can do.
That's great. Last question from me for today. What advice would you give yourself if you could go back and have a chat with yourself before you started your role here at Candyspace?
I would have read more books about AI. I'm serious, the pace of chat, there's always something new that comes along, right? And we all try and keep up to date with the latest innovations and trends and tools. AI isn't an innovation or a trend or a tool. AI is blowing apart everything that we knew. And the speed at which that is happening, every day I have a WTF moment with AI where I see a new instance of it that is 100 times more sophisticated than something I saw a week ago. And that's so fundamental to how businesses operate, how we operate, how our clients operate, how they exist in the world, that I think making sure that you can utilize that for good is critical.
Brilliant. Thanks for that, Matt. That's really great answers, and I'm sure everyone's going to get a lot of value out of them. So thanks for taking part today.
Thanks, Tim.